Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a fox statue based off of the fox skin out of the Battle & Beast 2 skin pack that was released on the Xbox 360, giving you a bit of a twirl of him now, bask in his glory. But what does he say? So if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need orange wool, brown wool, black wool, light grey, white, and you will also need minuscule amounts of pink and yellow wool, and that's all we'll need. So once you... Well, goodbye orange wool. So once you have your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'm going to make him right here. You're going to want to start off with this little colour sequence in a row on the floor. You're going to want to do one light grey, one brown, one light grey, two brown, one light grey, one brown, one light grey. And that's what you want to have for the first row of our fox. That's going to be the foundation of him. So the pig's getting involved. He's inspecting what we've done. Yep, done that perfectly right. So once you have that, what you're going to want to do on top of our row of 8 that we've just made is you're going to want to do 8 solid rows of brown wool just directly on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I will just fill those in. I like to mark them out before I fill them in because I feel as though it prevents more mistakes. Too many times have I made too shorter legs or too longer legs because I've just randomly slapped rows on there. So that's what you want to have so far. Pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So on top of 8 rows of brown that we've just done, what we're going to want to do on top of the next row is you're going to want to place a single brown wool on each end of the row, just like that. You're also going to want to place 2 brown in the 2 middle spaces of the row, so there and there, leaving 2 blocks either side of it exposed, which you're then going to want to fill in with orange wool. So you want to do something that looks like that. So pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So what you're going to want to do on top of that, just to finish off our leg section of the fox, is you're going to want to do 2 rows of orange. So just 2 solid rows of orange, and I will just fill those in now. I even mock them out when I just have a couple of rows to do. Just out of habit now. It's better this way. So that's what you want to have for the leg section of our fox. Pause that if necessary. It's not too complicated. Pretty easy to do. The hardest row to do is probably the foundation. So once you have that, we can continue on to the torso. So what you're going to want to do on top of our row of orange that we've just done is you're just going to want to do 1 more row of orange. So just add another orange row on top of there. And the reason that I'm not doing... Well, I like to split the statue into like legs, torso, arms, and then, you know, the rest of it. We've got a few more rows of orange to do, but as I said, I like to split it up. Plus, this has got another purpose. After you've done your single row of orange on top of your 2 rows of orange, you're going to do yourself a huge favour by marking out where the arms are right now. So what you want to do is you want to come to your, the side of your orange row, and you're going to want to extend it out like this. You're going to want to do 1 brown, 1 light grey, 1 brown, 1 light grey, and you're going to want to do that little colour sequence each side of your orange row. So brown, light grey, brown, light grey, just like that. Because the starting point for the arms are sandwiched in between a load of orange lines, it just makes sense to add it in now so there's no confusion later on. I've had that myself. So, pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So what you're going to want to do now is you're just going to want to do 2 additional rows of orange on top of your 3 rows of orange that you should have now. So just 2 more rows, like that. You see earlier when I said, just do the 2 orange rows, we could have done 5 in actuality. That's how many orange rows of orange we should have. But, for easiness sake, adding in the hands and such, splitting it up, that's how I like to do things. So pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So the next row, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do 2 white blocks in the middle of the next row. So there and there. Should line up perfectly with the brown that we have just below it. And then you just want to fill the rest of the row in with orange wool. Like so. Then what you're going to want to do for the next row is on the left hand side you want to do a single orange block there. Then on the right hand side you're going to want to do 2 oranges coming towards the centre, like that. Then what you want to do is you just want to fill the rest of the row in with white. And that's the row. Pause that if necessary. let's continue. So what you're going to want to do on top of that is 6 solid rows of white wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, well, let's fill those in. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that'll be 6. I sometimes count them out again as I'm filling them in, just to make sure. As you may tell, I'm slightly paranoid about mistakes. So, there we go. That's what you want to have. The torso is almost complete at that point. So, once you've done your 6 rows of white, what you're going to want to do for the final row is you're going to want to do a single orange block on each end of the next row, and then you're just going to want to fill the rest of the row in with white to give us our torso. So let me give you a decent view of that, including the little hands there. So pause that if necessary. That's the whole torso, and let me show you what it looks like with the legs involved there as well. Just to show you what you should have, how it all shapes up so far. Alrighty then, so the next logical step is to fill in the arms. I'm going to be starting with the right one. I don't know why, I always do. And luckily we already have the arm marked out for us. Half of the problem is solved already. So what you want to do on top of our little row of 4 that we have here is you're going to want to do 5 solid rows of brown wool just on top of what we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And it's important to note how I'm going to be doing the next few rows. So the next few rows are multicolored, and how I like to do the arms is from outside to in. And all I'm going to be doing is calling out the colours that you need to use, since the arms are extremely easy. They're 4 rows, and you can see how they're done pretty simply just by looking at them. So for the next row, on top of your row of 5, you're going to want to do 3 brown wool, 1 light grey. Next row, you're going to want to do 3 brown wool, 1 white. Next row, 1 orange, 1 brown, 2 white. Next row, 3 orange, 1 light grey, and then the final 2 rows, which will take us up to the shoulder, are just orange, just completely orange, like that. And let me just show you what the arm looks like, just in case I went a little too fast. There you go. Like I said, all you have to do, just take a close look. If you manage to do the 5 rows of brown, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Just look at it, it's only like 4 blocks. Pretty easy to figure out. So pause that if necessary. I'm going to be moving on to the other arm, and I'm going to be doing the other arm slightly faster, as it is just a mirror image of what we have already done. So we have the arm marked out. That was a smart move. You're going to want to do your 5 rows of brown. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then fill in the rest of the row, like so. Then what you're going to want to do, and again, outwards to in, you're going to want to do 3 brown, 1 light grey, 3 brown, 1 white. Next row, 1 orange, 1 brown, 2 white. Next row, 3 orange, 1 light grey. And then the next 2 rows are just completely orange, giving us the arm completely finito. I'm going to leave it in that position, so if you need to, pause it, make sure you've done that right, and let me just show you the whole torso with the arms attached. There you go. So again, if you need to, pause it right there, make sure that you've done that right, and let me just show you what it looks like all together. So you're going to want to have something that looks exactly like that. Pause that if necessary. Once you're sure that you've done that right, we can move on to the next step. So it's time to make our statue 3D, and to do that you're going to want to come to the bottom of the feet. You're going to want to take a sideways view, and it doesn't really matter which side of the feet you start on, you've got to do the same thing to both sides. So you take a sideways view like this, and from the edge of the foot, with your orange wool, you're going to want to bring it back by 3 rows. So this is what I mean. 1, 2, 3 with your orange wool, and the same thing on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 3, like that. And once you've done the same thing to both sides, what you want to do is you just want to connect your 2 rows of orange together at the back, like that. Just give you a bit of a bird's eye view of it. There you go. And what you've essentially made is you have made a platform to build up the back of your fox statue. if you've never watched a statue tutorial of mine before, here's how it goes. We build up the entire front like that, minus the head. We then bring it back like this. We then build up the entire back in the same fashion that we did the front. We add in the sides, we add on the head, and then we have our glorious fox statue. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be building up the back in the exact same fashion that we did the front, so we're going to be ignoring these little side parts for now. And, well, that is pretty much it. There's nothing more to say, so let's get to it. So the entire back of the fox is actually extremely easy. The entire back of the legs and back is just completely orange. Just absolutely completely orange. So how I'm going to be doing this is exactly like I do most other things. I make them into shapes and I fill them in. So I'm just going to be doing the entire area for the back of the fox. You feel free to do it however you want to do it. If you like to, do it systematically in lines, you go for it. But the fact of the matter is, all you need to do is the entire back of the legs and the entire back of the fox. Just fill it in completely with orange. So that doesn't include the back of the arms. The back of the arms are important. They're actually different from the counterparts on the front. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing now. I'm just going to fill this all in with orange. I don't know whether I'll cut this out. Probably won't, actually. Why not? I used to cut out a lot of stuff with these statues, like I'd do one arm, and then I'd just, cut it out because both arms are identical, and I'd cut out any time that I'd just fill in large surfaces like I'm doing now. But I figure, may as well leave it in there. If you guys want to skip this, feel free to skip it, but if you don't, if you just want to leave it running, because I imagine if you are following the tutorial, you've got to do the same thing as well, so there we go. That is the entire back of the fox. I know it looks very plain now, but once the tail and once the back of the arms are added in, it actually looks quite a lot better, so that's what you want to have for the entire back of the legs, the entire back, just to keep reiterating over and over again. Pause that if necessary. Alrighty then, it's time to move on to the back of the arms. I'm going to be starting on the left side here, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to figure out where it goes, but that's pretty easy since we have the front of the arm to work off, and as you may imagine, the back of the arm is in line with the front of the arm, so figure out where that is. It's right here. You're going to want to do the first row of the bottom of the arm. It wants to be entirely brown, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, what you're going to want to do on your single row of brown that you should have that starts off the arm, you're just going to want to stack 3 more rows of brown on top of it. So, 1, 2, 3, and just fill them in. Like that. And here's where the back of the arm starts to get multicoloured, and just like I did with the front, I like to work from outwards to in, and I'm just going to be calling the colours out as I place them. So what you want to do for the next row, on top of your 4 rows of brown, because that's what you should have so far, is you want to do 2 white wool, 2 brown. Then you want to do, for the next row, 3 white, 1 brown. For the next row, you want to do 1 white, 1 orange, 1 white, 1 brown. Then what you want to do for the next row is you want to do 2 orange and 2 white. Then, what you want to do for the next row is 3 orange, 1 white, and then every other row is just entirely orange, which should just be 3 of them. So, let me show you what you should have for the back of the arm. There you go, not too complicated, can probably just figure that out by looking at it. Pause that if necessary. I'm going to be moving on to the other arm, and again, just like with the front, the arms are just mirror images of each other, so I'm going to be doing this slightly faster. But again, should be easy enough to work it out if you've managed the one on. Alright, so first thing, just as with the other arm, is figuring out where it goes, which is pretty easy. Again, you just line it up with the front counterpart, so it should be right here. You just want to start off with 4 brown wool coming out like that. Then, you just want to add 3 rows of brown wool on top. So, 1, 2, 3, giving us our foundation of 4 rows of brown, like that. Then, just as with the other arm, I'm going to be going out to in, and just to call out the colours again, for the next row, on top of your 4 rows of brown, you're going to want to do 2 white, 2 brown. Next row, 3 white, 1 brown. Next row, 1 white, 1 orange, 1 white, 1 brown. Next row, 2 orange, 2 white. Next row, 3 orange, 1 white. And then every other row, which should be 3 of them, is just orange wool. And let me show you what the back wants to look like. There you go. I was just making sure that both arms are the same, which they are. Pause that if necessary. And I will just show you the entire back. I know that the back looks extremely plain, but once the head's added in and once the tail's on there, it actually looks pretty decent. Although it is still quite plain. But what can you do? You can only... Well, since I'm copying the skin, you know, there's nothing that I can really add in there. And there's really no other substitute for orange. I mean, you can add red in there, but red just doesn't look right. Foxes aren't red. Well, some foxes... I'm talking myself in circles. So that's what the entire back of the statue wants to look like. Pause that if necessary. Now we can move on to the sides. So it really doesn't matter which side you start on, because just like with many things on this statue, both sides are the same. I'm going to be starting on this side. As you look at it from the front, it's the left side, but from the back, it's the right side. And I'm going to be doing this a little differently from how I usually do the sides. So the side of the fox has somewhat unusual colouring in patterns. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing like the entire left row going up, then the entire right row going up, and I'm just going to be calling out the colours. It should be pretty simple. So from the left row, the row closest to the back of the fox, just wants to be entirely orange. So up to the side of the leg, just coming up underneath the bottom of the hand, just wants to be entirely orange. Then what you want to do for the right row, you want to do 1 orange, 3 brown, 2 orange, 3 brown, and then the rest of the row wants to be orange. It's not that it's a difficult pattern, it's just that it's easier to do it like that instead of how I usually do it, which is like left block, right block, next row, left block, right block. Much easier to do it that way around. So pause that if necessary. That's the side of the leg. Let's continue. So the bottom of the hand just wants to be entirely brown wool, and remember to fill in the entire bottom. I forget quite a lot. Underneath here is a problem area. So what you want to do after you've filled it in entirely with brown, I actually lied to you, it's not completely brown. You want to knock out this block and you want to place a light grey block, and that's actually the fox's claw. As you can see, it follows around from the front, but it's easier to do it that way around, just knock out the block. So that's what you want to have for the first row, and again, I'm going to be doing this in a very similar fashion to how I just did the bottom of the leg. So left row first, going straight up, you want to do 6 brown wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it should line up with the white wool that you have on the left-hand side there. You then want to do 1 light grey wool, then the rest of the row just wants to be orange. So that's the left row done. Now onto the right row. The right row, what you want to do is you want to do 8 brown wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should come up 1 block higher than the grey wool. And then the rest of the row just wants to be orange, like that. Let me show you the side of the arm like that. So this is what the entire side of your statue wants to look like once it's all put together. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you can move on to the other side. So coming over to here, this side, in theory, is much easier to do than that side. If nothing for the fact that if you get in trouble with this side, all you have to do is look straight ahead and apply what you have on that side onto this side, since it's exactly the same. Although I'm going to still be calling out the colours and such, all you have to do, if you get in trouble, look straight ahead and copy what you have. So starting with the right side, the side closest to the back of the legs, just as it is with the other side, it wants to be entirely orange wool, so coming up to the bottom of the hand, just like that. Then, the other row, the left row, closest to the front, what you want to do, 1 orange, 3 brown, 2 orange, 3 brown, and then the rest of the leg is orange, so there you go. Pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So the bottom of the arm, first, fill it all in with brown wool, like so. And again, just to give you the warning again, bottom of the hands, remember to fill those in. And then knock out this block, replace that with a light grey because of the claws, follow all around like that. Then, what you want to do, again, starting with the right row, the row closest to the back, this time on top of your light grey block, you want to do 6 brown wool, which should line up nicely with your white wall that you should have to the right of it. Then you want to do a single light grey wall. Then you want to do the rest of the arm in orange, like that. And that should be that row completely finished. Pause that if necessary. Then, what you want to do for the left row, the row closest to the front, you want to do 8 brown going straight up. Should come up one higher than the light grey on the right of it. Then the rest of the arm just wants to be orange, like so. And then remember to fill in the top of the shoulder. And again, all you have to do is come in by 3. The head will take care of the rest. And that is what the entire side of your... Actually, I didn't show you the arm. There you go. That's what the arm wants to look like once it's all put together. Pause that if necessary. And let me show you what the whole side of the statue wants to look like. The right side. There you go. Pause that if necessary. And once you have done that, once you are at this point, you've got the entire front done, the back, the sides, it's starting to sound like a haircut. Once you've done all of that, we can move on to the head, and the head is extremely easy. So what you want to do, once you are at this point, you want to come to the top of the torso, and on top of the 8 original blocks, you guys can remember doing that, right? It wasn't that long ago. On top of the 8 original blocks, what you want to do is a row of orange. So, like extending the torso up an extra row, just do a row of orange. And make sure that it doesn't intrude onto either of the arms like that, and you are fine. Then, what you want to do, after you have done your row of orange, you're going to want to add on 2 rows of white, but you don't want to go up, you want to come towards you like this. You want to add them on like this. So what you essentially want to do is you want to make the head overhang the front of the statue by 2 rows. I don't know why Minecraft heads do this. I've said this many a time. I don't know why the skins do this, but they do. They overhang the front and the back by 2 rows. I personally don't like it. If it were up to me, I'd have it all in line with the body, but I made the rules. So that's what you want to have, and this most outward white row is going to make up the first row of our face. So what you want to do to the first row of our face, first you want to knock out the 2 middle blocks and replace them with pink. Like that. That's our actual first row. Then, what you're going to want to do, again, treating this as the first row, for the second row, you want to have... it's probably going to be easier to do it this way. Going from left to right, and I'm just going to be calling out the colours similar to how I did the arms. Going from left to right like this, you're going to want to do 2 white, 1 brown, 2 black, 1 brown, 2 white. That's what the second row of the face wants to look like. Then, what you're going to want to do for the next row, this row is a bit simpler because we already have it marked out. What you want to do, on top of the black, or where you placed black on the previous row, on this row you want to place orange, and then you can pretty much just copy the rest of the previous row. Just place brown where you place brown, and place white where you place white, like so. Then, what you want to do for the next row, very similar to the previous row, is you pretty much want to copy everything but the white. The white has turned into orange for the next row, so copy the 4 middle blocks and then just do orange where the white is supposed to be on the previous row, like so. Pause that if necessary, let's continue. It's going to be easiest to do the next row just how I did the third row, and that is just calling from left to right the colours. So what you're going to want to do, from left to right, you're going to want to do 1 brown, 1 yellow, 1 black, 2 orange, 1 black, 1 yellow, and 1 brown. So that's what that wants to look like. I know that the fox is looking a little flat-faced at the moment, but we're going to solve that issue once we've got the head done. Pause that if necessary. I'm not sure whether I said that, but I'm saying it again. Next row. So the next row is very simple. All you want to do, place brown where yellow is on the previous row, and then fill the rest of the row in with orange, like so. Then what you want to do for the next 2 rows is just 2 solid rows of orange. So mark those out, place orange, and that is actually the entire face completed. There is nothing more to it. Completely done. Pause that if necessary. Make sure that you've got that right. We're now going to be doing the rest of the head. So what you want to do to continue on the head is you want to come back here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to extend your orange back until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows. So just like you did with the front pretty much, except with orange this time. Until it overhangs the back by 2 rows. Let me just... There you go. That's what it looks like. Just like that. And I've just reminded myself that there is a little bit more to the sides than I thought. I thought these sides were just entirely orange, but they're not. We've got a little bit of white to add in, and that means I've made a slight error, but it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to want to do, either side this as well, because, you know, both sides are the same, you're going to want to knock out these 2 orange blocks here, replace them with white like this. So you've got like half and half, you've got 4 white blocks here. Then you're just going to want to add these 3 white blocks, and you know, I don't need to add in any explanation for that, and that's pretty self-explanatory, right? You guys can copy that easy enough. Just like a little set of stairs. Pause that if necessary. Let's continue. We may as well do the other side here, because again, this is the only detailing actually in the head. So knock out these 2 blocks on the other side, replace them with white, and then add in these 3 white blocks. And again, I'll give you a little close-up again, just in case you need it. Pause that if necessary, and this is actually a good thing because I can see that the sun is coming down. So what I'm going to do, I am going to cut this out and I'll be back once we have daybreak again. So once you've done that bit of white detailing, it's time to finish off the head. So what you want to do, or at least how I like to do the head, the rest of the head is just completely orange. So if you already know how to do the head, you go ahead and do it like you want to. But I always like to make it into a shape. I always like to make it into a giant cube and then just fill in the individual faces of said cube. So this is how I like to do it. Just like this. It's not too hard to do. You've already got the surface made there. All you have to do is line it up with the front of the head. And again, just turn it into a cube, and all you have to do is fill in the faces completely with orange. That's it. It was just that little bit of white and the face. Everything else is just nice and plain. I'm just going to go around filling in all of the faces. And just like with the back, I don't think I'm going to cut this out. I'll probably just leave it in here. Why not? You guys have to do the same thing, so... The other side. And after we've done this, by the way, we've just got a couple of little things to do. We've got a little bit to do to the face. Add the ears on, add the tail on, and we are pretty much done. It really won't take us more than a couple of minutes. And that is the entire head filled in like that. It's looking a bit weird. It's looking very flat and very plain. I mean, you might be able to see the fox statue over there. A little bit more glorious. I like it from the distance, but there you go. That's what you want to have so far. That's what the head wants to look like. A little bit of pan face. Looks like Bugs Bunny's whacked him in the face with a frying pan. It's time to change that. So what you're going to want to do to the front of the face, these first 3 rows here, we pretty much just want to raise them out and bring them towards us. And, you know, what I mean by that is, you know, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You just raise them 1 block towards you, so exactly like this. Brown goes where brown is, black goes where black is, until you've done all 3 rows and you've made the snout of the fox, like that. See, that's looking better already, right? So, once you've done that, pause that if necessary. It is time to add on the ears. So, the only difficult thing about the ears is figuring out where you place them. So, this is the back of the head. Come to the top of the head and come to the back row. The ears want to be placed on the 3rd row coming in. So that's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And this is what the ears look like. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll show you them once they're done. They are only 6 blocks in total. So there you go. A little J, a little I. That's all the ears are. Pause that if necessary. And just remember that they are on the 3rd row coming in towards the back of the head. So let me just give you a little side profile of that just in case it helps you in any way, shape or form. So that is the head 100% complete. You've got the ears on there, you've got the snout on there. All we have to do now is the tail. So you want to come to the back of your statue here. You want to come to where the back starts, which is exactly where the arms line up. It's probably easiest if you do come to the same row that the arms start, so kind of like here. You're going to want to find the 2 middle blocks of the row, so it should be these 2, leaving you free either side, like that. Then what you're going to want to do, after you've marked out those 2 blocks, exactly like I have, you're going to, with the orange, bring them towards you, by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the same thing to the row next to it as well, like that. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just place 2 white like that. So just give you a side view. What you've essentially done from the 2 middle blocks of the first row of the back, you've extended them out by 5 with the orange, added a white on there, and that's pretty much it. And just to finish off the tail, you want to do the exact same thing to the blocks directly above it, giving you a tail that is 4 blocks thick, like that. There you go, nothing much to it whatsoever. And once you have accomplished that, we have our entire fox statue in all of its glory. Let me give you a view of our fox. There he is. I always like to give you a bit of a 360-degree view of him. He's pretty fantastic once he's all put together. Tail might be a bit stubby. If I were designing the skin, I may have made it a bit bigger, maybe a bit curlier, but that's just me. Maybe they have limitations with that. I don't know. But anyway, this is the fox all put together. The only complaint that I may have is that he is ever so slightly plain, although that could be solved if we had a few more colour options, to be honest with you. But I like the skin regardless. I know that I've already showed you how to make at least the panda. I'm not sure whether I've uploaded another one of these animal skins. I've got a couple more to show you, but I'm not going to flood you with them. But that is the fox in its entirety. Let me see if I can get a better view. I make my thumbnails from this little end part here. So there we go. That's the entire fox tutorial, 100% complete. I hope that it was easy enough to follow. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and see ya. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.